So is this what Jinbei's been up to this whole time? While the rest of the Straw Hats have been in color pages and cover stories and all that, he's just been sitting here getting a haircut? So, chapter 939. It opens off where we left off from last chapter with Hiyori showing her joy over Momonosuke being allied with such a strong person like Zoro. I like her little quirk of considering both sides of the situation, with the possibility that Zoro is working for Momonosuke, but also considering the possibility that he's somebody tracking Momonosuke down in order to take him out. But it also begs the question, what happened to Hiyori's Komurasaki personality? That cold, spoiled, and manipulated nature that she had before. But I guess that could be the way she had to behave in order to survive in the Shogun's country. And it would make sense that she had adapted that personality. She recognizes that when she was younger, she was somewhat of a crybaby and, you know, just in general weak, I guess is the common word thrown around. And being who she is now is exactly the polar opposite of that quote-unquote weak girl she was. And if she stayed that way, there's no way she would have been likely to survive in Wano as it is now. Zoro gets to run down the situation regarding the time travel, and we finally get a reason to why Hiyori didn't get sent into the future with the others. That reason was in case one of them didn't survive, like say Hiyori died, you know, over the course of those 20 years, or Momonosuke died when he came out, at least one of them would have been able to survive in order to continue the Kozuki bloodline. I love the way Oda is showing how Zoro sees Momonosuke as this little kid with a goofy look on his face. But when Momonosuke was describing Zoro a few chapters ago, he saw Zoro as a scary looking guy who always has like this serious look on his face, but the way he described him, you could tell that he respects Zoro and his strength, especially since he's taken a lot of his teachings and sticking with them. So much, in fact, that Kiku had to tell him, don't scream that word out when you're swinging because it's kind of like a taboo in Wano. Now, I think that Zoro's picture of Momonosuke is a little off, especially given how we've seen Momonosuke training and given how serious he's taken this entire situation. So while he's still kind of like that little pervy kid who likes to grab Nami and Robin's tits all the time, in this situation, he's kind of taking it as seriously as he can. Zoro shows some concern about Otogo hearing all of this, but he's immediately put at ease because, I mean, she's a little savage. She already knows everything. She's one of very few people who already knows the secret, you know, who already knows Komurasaki's secret, and she trusts her well enough to keep it. And as goofy as Otoko is, she actually has kept it this entire time. And it also begs the question of who else knows? If it's not just Otoko, who else knows and who else has been protecting her? Could it be Kyoshiro? Because I'm wondering how Komurasaki was able to survive when her and Kawamatsu were separated. Hiyori also gives us full confirmation that her mother Toki was killed the day the castle burned. I think it was fairly obvious, but there were still those who had their doubts and believing that she could have jumped into the future avoiding death. This kills all of those theories, I guess. Hiyori continues to explain what happened following her parents' death and losing her brother. She says what I speculated before, the promise that Momonosuke will return in 20 years time. It was a fleeting hope for her. She'd all but lost faith in any of that, so she essentially had to do what she had to. Even when she was beginning to lose faith in everything, Kawamatsu being left behind to look after her kept her spirits up the entire time. She also confirms that Kawamatsu's title of the Kappa is a lot more literal than I originally thought. I'm hoping that Kawamatsu's appearance is another example of Wano ignorance to the outside world, and he's some kind of frog fishman that was born in Wano, so he'd just be as ignorant to the outside as every other citizen in Wano. Because to my understanding, a Kappa is a type of mythical creature, and the existence of that without the use of a devil fruit just really doesn't seem right to me. But yo, if we get a Greninja type character in Wano, I'll forgive all of the sins that Oda has been placing on the ninjas so far in Wano. I mean, making all of them memes and the butt of the joke when it comes to the Warriors of Wano have just been outrageous to me. Every single one of their designs has just been so underwhelming, and yes, some of them do have, you know, fairly impressive techniques, but it's not just about the technique, okay? It's about presentation. And if you present somebody like Raizo to me, I'm gonna look at him as if he's some kind of joke. But as we've seen in recent chapters, Raizo is not somebody to be fucked with. And Shinobu also has a really goofy design, and from what we've seen a couple chapters ago, she actually used to be pretty, like, she actually had a decent appearance. Okay, it's about presentation. That's all I want, is presentation. Give me a better presentation. Hiyori says that she was with Kawamatsu up until she was about 13 years old when they were separated. And from what Kawamatsu said before, that he had been in prison eating poisonous fish for about 13 years, that lines up around when they were separated, especially with her being 26 now. So how did she survive 13 years on her own in a single country? It's not like Robin where she had options. She was able to travel the world avoiding people. Hiyori was in a single country of people looking to kill her. Did Kiyoshiro find her at that time and protect her? I mean, just to grow up in the pleasure district. So was he grooming a specific courtesan? Where was Shinobu all that time? She didn't get sent into the future, and she had to have known that Hiyori was left behind with Kawamatsu. So why wasn't she with them? So when Hiyori and Kawamatsu got separated, Shinobu took over looking after her. She wasn't a child at that time. Because one of the Oniwaban remembers Shinobu as somewhat of a beautiful woman. But then Zoro informs Hiyori that he knows about Nekomamushi and Inuarashi, who she actually refers to as Kitty and Doggy, and that they're currently on Wano, or at least Inuarashi is. And again, I'm loving the expression that Hiyori is giving, trying to hide her joy from hearing all of this news. But then Zoro goes on to explain exactly who the 9 red scabbards are, with all 9 being Kinemon, Kanjuro, Raizo, Kiku, Nekomamushi, Inuarashi, Ashura-doji, Kawamatsu, and Denjiro. This is similar to my list, who I originally thought of being Kinemon, Kanjuro, Raizo, Kiku, Kawamatsu, Grandpa Hyo. I thought the manslayer was Denjiro, and Kiyoshiro was the missing retainer with the big hat, and Ashura-doji, obvious. In hindsight, I don't know why I didn't include Nekomamushi and Inuarashi. I guess I just assumed that all of the scabbards were all residents of Wano, and I was also wrong about Kiyoshiro being the missing retainer. I thought that the big hat that he wore in the flashback was used to mask his distinctive pompadour, but the missing retainer and Kawamatsu ended up being one and the same. And I also added Grandpa Hyo because he seemed like a big influencer in Wano and also a Kazuki sympathizer. I thought he could have been one of Oden's closest friends, thus adding him to the list. Kiyoshiro being the new Yakuza boss, I thought that he was one of the 9 who ended up turning traitor and overthrowing one of his contemporaries. Now that I'm thinking about it, why didn't I add Fukurokoji, you know, the Oniwa Banshu, the Thumb Thumb? He worked with Hyo alongside Oden, and he ended up being the one who turned traitor after the Beast Pirates invaded Wano. One of my only issues with this entire chapter is this scene itself, like this conversation. Zoro is a little too willing to give out information regarding their plan and who's involved, even if it is Hiyori. I just find it weird that Zoro, being who he is as trusting as he is right now. Kinda weird that he's willing to just, you know, give out the information for this big battle, even though he was instantly suspicious of Kiku the first time he met her. He realized that she was keeping something from him. But when it comes to Hiyori, even though she just says that I'm Hiyori and Momonosuke is my sister, I mean brother, he's willing to just dump all of the information that he has to her. What if she's the traitor? because like she said, she had all but given up hope, and there's still those 13 unaccounted for years where she was separated from Kawamatsu. But regardless, Zoro expresses his concern about the plan being spread, and though it makes it easier for the allies to receive the message, being arrested is a real problem in the long run. But then we get more One Piece humor when Zoro says that he's gonna get some more sleep for right now and just stop worrying. Hiyori is being so loud that he won't be able to get to sleep. But in the very next panel, not only is he out for the count, Toko is laying right next to him snoring. Back over in the Flower Capital, everyone with the Crescent Moon tattoo is being thrown in the public prison where everyone can see all of the traitors. Also happens to be where Beppo, Sachi, and Penguin are being held after they were apparently tortured for information, but it doesn't seem like they gave up anything because Beppo and Sachi, I guess they're going back and forth saying, I wonder if they'll suspect us of being the ones who spilled the beans. But Beppo says exactly what happened. The captain will believe us. We didn't do anything wrong. We didn't give up any information. Again, I recommend people go read the law novel. It was a good read. Not great, just good. And this is where I have another issue with this chapter and possibly the entire arc. I get that Orochi and Kaido's people believe that they're an unstoppable force and no one would dare to try and oppose them, but even if you are this ultimate power, these people already are opposing you. You believe that they're starting a rebellion. So why gather all of your enemies and put them in a single location that isn't even really that well guarded if we're going by what's on the panel? Why not put them in Udon prison or another? I know it's a massive country, there has to be another prison. You're putting all of them in a single location out in the open. I think it goes without saying that Law is going to want his crew back, and he's going to do whatever it takes to get them back. And given his ability, and like I said, the location of the cell that all of them are being held in, he's not going to have to do much. Then there's the added bonus of all of their allies being round up in this almost convenient location. I feel like this is one of those conveniences to move the plot along, but at the same time, it's an issue, but it's not that big of an issue. My personal feelings aside, back in Udon prison, Luffy and Hyo are still going through the execution exhibition where Luffy is showing that he's already made some real gains in his haki by giving Hyo exact directions to avoid incoming attack. Whether you believe this is direct future sight or Luffy just getting even better with the form of observation haki that he already has, Luffy is getting better with observation haki regardless. In my opinion, it really doesn't matter either way, the end result is still the same. Luffy's precognition is becoming top notch. So whether it's exactly what Katakuri was doing or a different variation of it, he's still getting up there with his observation haki, and I don't see why we have to argue semantics at this point. Luffy is intentionally pulling his punches against the current gifters that are in the arena because he's trying to improve his armament haki by performing the same shockwave force push technique that Rayleigh had used on Ruskaina when they first began training. Hyo recognizes that Luffy is trying to do something specific, and sure enough, he shows that he is capable of doing said technique. It also prompts Luffy to ask, hey, you need to teach me that. Of course, Hyo responds in kind, of course I can. He'll at least try. And that ends the chapter. 7 out of 10 for me. Nothing brought it down too far with the exception of the convenience of the allies being rounded up and put on display in the middle of the street, just waiting to be freed and rallied behind the Kozuki. But it's almost forgiven when we go to the prison to see that not only is Queen not underestimating Luffy, but he really doesn't seem to be all that worried either. So how strong is Queen? I know he had to have heard about what Luffy did in Whole Cake, beating Katakuri and all. So why isn't he worried? How strong is this man? And we got more of Hyo, who says that haki must be a foreign concept, then continues to use haki. I think this might be something similar to Skypiea, where it's the same ability, it's the same power, it just goes by a different name. Like in Skypiea, haki is called mantra, however you want to pronounce it. In Wano, they call devil fruits ninjutsu or cursed abilities. maybe Haki is something different as well, maybe like chi or maybe even chakra. The way Hyo explains Haki and how it's used, everything he says is exactly how Zoro learned how to cut steel, and it all lines up exactly with the teachings that Zoro got from Koshiro. Given the recent SBS or interview, I can't remember which one it was, but it stated that the Minatomo that fixed Makino's door after the bandits broke it down back in the Romance Dawn arc came to the East Blue on a ship, and a certain person got off of it as well. And apparently that certain person has something to do with Zoro, and I think this makes it pretty obvious that that certain person was Koshiro. I've even read theories that Koshiro is or could possibly be Denjiro because of the similarities between their name. I don't agree with it, but they do make some good points in the theory. I wanted to bring this up because someone said this in the comments last week. He said that, "You want some bullshit, bro? Luffy got stabbed by a trident from Katakuri and never passed out. Zoro got stabbed by a guy who got taken out in the same chapter. In the same chapter that he was introduced, and Zoro passed out. Kamazo had no feats prior to fighting Zoro. He didn't even have a rank. Not even a guy under Kaido. Just some random dude." Now, in my opinion, one, the Katakuri fight was something that Luffy had to continue. If he didn't, everything would have been for nothing. He would have lost the fight. If he lost that fight, he would have lost his crew, everything. There would have been no more One Piece. When Zoro got stabbed, it was just a way to progress everything. Luffy had to continue. Story-wise, if Luffy stopped, there would be no more One Piece. Zoro passed out because there was no real dire situation. The Manslayer had already been defeated, and he had people there who he just saved. It was just to progress the plot. That's really it. That's in my opinion, at least. That's all from me, guys. Like the video if you did, comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time.